everybody, welcome back to IP Farms. Well, it's another beautiful day here in North Carolina. We'll do something a little different today. Instead of being out in the fields and down the bottoms in the shop doing things, I rounded up some pictures from my mom and put them all together here. As it turns out, I think this is going to be two videos, so we'll start out with this one first. It's just basically history of the farm itself. Some of my mom's siblings, her at a young age, my grandparents, dates all the way back to the 20s, and I'll tell a little bit about each one as we go along. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I'll answer them best I can. Just thought it was something neat. Like I've said many times throughout the channel so far, there's a lot of history here at the farm. Start out by saying you're looking at the 1979 aerial shot. You've seen that in the video before, a quick picture of it. I'll go over a couple of things here right quick. The farmhouse is still there. Of course, it's changed hands out of the family now. It just sits on a little tract of land by itself, still surrounded by the rest of the farm. Bottom left corner there, you can see the blockhouse with the chimney everybody likes. My shop's next there, and then you can see the barn. The alleyway down, they used to call it the lane that went down into the bottom there. You can see the gravel road behind that box truck, if you will. Goes down around the pond and up towards the hillside, and top left up there you can see the bus. You can see the highway back there, and of course the bottom land. This would have been 10 years after the first sewer easement came through, but you can see how clear everything was, and you know how prevalent those one row of cedar trees are there. And we do have some property across the creek, but unable to get to that right now. So let's move forward onto the next picture here, and this is going to be mainly about people and a little bit of history about them, and everything's pretty much here at the farm. Okay, this picture is my great-grandmother, or actually step-grandmother, great-grandmother, walking up to the front steps of the farmhouse there. I'll explain a little bit more about that scenario here in another picture, but she pretty much raised my grandfather from an early age due to his biological mother passing away. So the next picture here we're going to come to is the man on the right is my great grandfather, John Sherman. That picture was taken here at the farm somewhere, we're not exactly sure, but that bench there, I'll show you another one here that's got my grandmother in it. The top picture is my grandmother in a car out in the field, and the bottom picture is my grandfather in a car here on the farm somewhere. We're thinking this is around the time they got married, which would have been around 1921. I'm not sure exactly on the dates. I wish some of these pictures had some dates on them, but you know, I'm just glad to have them in the shape that they are. Hope you guys can see everything okay. This one here again is just some miscellaneous pictures. I'm not sure if this was dating or prior marriage or right after marriage. Top pictures of my grandmother and grandfather there. Very bottom picture in the center is my grandfather at a young age in a suit. And I want to say that to the left there is my great-grandfather, John Sherman, and I guess it would be considered my step-great-grandmother, if you will. Like I said, I'll explain a little bit more about that, but most all these pictures were taken here at the farm. Here's a picture of my grandmother. I never got to meet her. She died in 1974 before I was born, but I'm pretty sure this is taken on this big rock formation down in the bottom land there. Okay, this is my grandfather and grandmother. Like I said, didn't get to meet her. Wish I did. I'm guessing they're in their 40s here, give or take. Good picture of them. I want to throw that in here. Here's a picture of the whole family. I'll go over as quick as I can. This is my mom's brothers and sisters. You can see her in the far left there is a little girl. She is the youngest of 7. And the oldest would be the lady behind my grandmother there. That's her oldest sister. She was 23, I think, when my mom was born. The one to the far right there beside my grandfather is my Uncle Terry. He's the one that's on here a lot in the comments. He loves the history as much as I do. Just a family picture there taken here on the farm. This is a little bit older dated picture of my grandmother and grandfather taken out beside the block apartment there. If I had to guess, I would say this is in the early 70s, give or take. This one here is of my grandmother, walking there in the driveway. You can see my shop behind her there. You can see the house with the chimney. And just to the left there, if you can make it out, that's my grandpa's Ford Ferguson that he used to sickle mow hay with. I've shown that in a history video before and tour video. I have, plans to restore that at some point. It's still here at the farm. Thought that was a good picture of her walking across there. Okay, this one, if I can do it quick enough, this was my great-grandfather, John Sherman, and his wife, Maggie. And then my grandpa is on the far right corner there. The little boy, it looks like almost like he's got a dress on. He looks so much like my grandson. It's unreal. And then his two older brother and sister there. There were 7 of them. 4 of them passed away at a very early age. There was only 3 remaining. And then Maggie, his biological mother, passed away at age 35. And that's where the step-grandmother or great-grandmother came into play. She pretty much raised him, real fond of him. So thought I'd throw that in. There's a little bit more information about him and the farmhouse, if I can remember to do that. Explain that if I don't get too long-winded here about how that works out. My grandfather was actually born in the barn, if you will. It was a 2-story home place, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. Okay, here is the original farmhouse, built in 1907. My grandfather was born in 1903, so he spent 4 years in the 2-story log house that sit here beside of where this was built. So my great-grandfather John Sherman built this house when my grandfather was 4 years old. Bottom picture is just one of the sand trucks, I think, that was getting ready to be taken out of service. I'm not sure if that was an accident or if they were just getting ready to, take it out of service for good. The rear end's missing out of it, sitting out in front of the shop. Okay, this one is my mom to the left picture in a high chair, and her next brother, which is Terry, like I said, the one that comments here. They are out in front of where the little block apartment is in front of the old home place. Far left corner there, you can see my shop. Looks like it's got an old car in it. This was prior to the block apartment getting built. And to the right there is my Uncle Terry, also on a tricycle out in front of the house with a pretty chimney on it. And in the background there is the farmhouse itself. Hard to make out some of these pictures, but I'm so glad that my mom has these, and my grandfather was a big picture guru too. So this is another one of my mom on the far right, my Uncle Terry that comments on the far left in the bibs, and then another one of her brothers there, Wayne, in the middle. And of course you can see the sand truck in the background. I've talked numerous times about grandfather ran a sand company, started out, and if any of you guys have any questions, I've answered it numerous times in comments, but haven't really put on the video. But you can probably pretty much understand where the IP comes from in the IP farms. That's how he started out. And this little bench right here, you'll see in another video, has a lot of memories on it. I do actually think, I've got to round that up, I think I have a piece of that bench still down in the bottom I found. Okay, this is one of my mom and one of her older brothers getting ready to go off to college. I put this one in there because this was the beginning of the little block apartment they were making into the sand company office. And to the left there's part of the original wooden building that was there. And you can kind of see the top of the barn in the background. Real neat to me. I didn't know that was there. I think they tore a section down of that wooden establishment when they started this block building here, if you will. Okay, the picture on the left is my mom and actually her niece behind her. It's kind of strange, and her niece is older than her, so my mom is actually her aunt due to the age difference. 2 older brothers there. We're not sure who that is. I think one of them possibly could be Terry, and I'm not sure who the other one is. Just in a bus there that they use to show dogs with and camp in. My grandfather loved to show dogs. You can see that on the right there. Had one of his show dogs on that same bench. And the far left corner of that picture, you can see the dump truck sitting in this building there. That's where we parked the Oliver and the International, and that's where my shop is. And you can see the wooden structures, over his shoulders there to the right before the block apartment was built. This is a picture of my mom and dad standing out right in front of my shop. That's was my mom's 55 2-door hardtop Chevrolet Bel Air. My dad ended up restoring it. We still have that today. Pretty neat picture of them standing there. We want to say this is somewhere around the late 60s, probably 8 or 9, something like that. Corvair sitting there right in front of the shop. I'm going to show you another picture here in just a minute that I thought was pretty neat. And here they are in 2021. This was the day I brought my grandpa's truck home to get started on it. I know that project's kind of been put off just a little bit due to the heat and everything. I'm just trying to get as much done as I can, but it's at the farm and we're going to get started on that for sure. But going back through these pictures, I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, they're within, 15 or 20 feet of the exact area that they were when that picture was taken back in the late 60s. So I'm a history buff and, legacy and a lot of memories here. For me, a lot of them have been built off of these pictures and, stuff like that. But there's some circumstances that I'm not, proud of about myself in earlier years. But we're going to give this all we can here at the farm to keep it alive. And hopefully my grandfather's looking down and got a smile on his face. I wish he was here with me. My mom still is, and several of her brothers are getting to follow along this journey with me on YouTube and get to see their home place and things that they normally wouldn't get to see due to circumstances, for one reason or another. So I probably bored you enough with all this right now. I think we're going to call this one good. Try to do a part 2 to this video later on with some more pictures of the farm itself. So thank you everybody for watching. Please consider subscribing if you hadn't already. Hit the thumbs up button if you like what you see. Thumbs down, I understand. It's not for everybody. Share the videos. Get them out there. Might be somebody else interested in some of this. Like I said, this dates way back to the 1800s here. And a lot of history. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know what you think. Until next time. Thank you.